everybody. I appreciate everybody coming here today. To begin with, I just wanted to introduce myself and talk a little bit about the artwork. So my name is Bernardo Ballerino, and I've been an artist for about 14 years. I did my BFA, Bachelor's in Fine Arts at TCU, and I did my MFA at Texas Women's University. For the last 14 years, I've been working under an umbrella of the devaluation of community. So most of my artwork focus on that kind of context. Specifically, in elements, I have inspiration basically comes from the observations of a hypocrisy that exists between the rhetoric of the things we talk, the rhetoric of human life, value, versus the behavior, the way we act. Now, overall, the intent of my artwork has always been to bring awareness, but beyond that, also to bring action. Okay, so that's always the focus when I'm working on my installations and on my sculptures. Now, for this specific body of work, as you look around, this body work started 4 years ago. I get a lot of, this is timely, and it is timely, but unfortunately, it's been timely for the last 4 years. So 4 years ago, the thing that set off this body work was a large amount of migrants, young migrants coming into the United States. And I was very impressed in some ways on the rhetoric that existed between both our neighbor in the south, Mexico, and Central America in general, as well as the United States. The discussion was very unhuman. We were discussing these young migrants in contexts that were very unhuman-like. And thus, the words that you see around came from this context. So as I focus more on that, through the years, unfortunately, the migrant conversation continued to grow. Not only here in the United States and in Mexico, but also in the Middle East, in Africa, etc., etc. So I continue to work more and more with that context. Another body work, or other objects within the body work that you see are the flags, and those came basically from the rhetoric from both the political discourse that existed during election seasons, not only here in the United States but around the world, and the final outcome of those elections that in some ways better, and in some ways, unfortunately many other ways worse, the way that it impacted the migrant population. So, we had Brexit, voting in England. We had here in the United States a much more nationalistic approach to our president, as well as in Colombia, which voted against a 50-year war peace treaty. Now, on the other side, we had Macron, who came to power in France, versus Le Pen. So that's sort of the two flags that you see, or the flags that you see flanking one against the other. And finally, but not least, as this issue more and more grew, and time went by, then I noticed that there was a need for an exclamation of help. And that's where the SOS pieces come about. And as I noticed that the body work was growing, I needed to put a project together with it that not only spoke about the issues, that they were not just objects, but they were also a project that put things into action. So, like I said many times, put money on where my words are. So that's how I started educating myself in different organizations around the DFW area and around Texas that help the people that I was discussing within my artwork. And within that study, that research, RST, Refugee Services Texas, came out as an organization that needed the most help. So I decided to contact them and to help them with bringing to light the wonderful things they do. So hopefully everybody got a brochure that explains a little bit about the wonderful work they do, not only here in the Metroplex, but also throughout Texas. One of the things that you're also going to notice in the artwork is the stamps. Everything in here was stamped one stamp at a time by hand. Myself, but also my great assistant, which is my mom, believe it or not. We both worked tirelessly doing all these things by hand. But the stamping, where does that come from? So I use insects in many cases as a metaphor to describe the way that we interact with one another, kind of dismissive way, where you kill an insect. Unfortunately, we kind of treat each other in that same regards in many cases, especially when it comes from one group of from one nation to another. So within that context, I have a specific sculpture that had this giant knot hovering over another very small human form. This seems like it was going to crush it. So the essence of crushing was the inspiration for the present, for the stamping. And that's where all those things came about. Now, another context formally that you see is this idea of plurality. So if you've ever stepped on an ant mound, you see thousands of little ants coming out, right? It's the essence of invasion of sorts. So I use that as well. So in the sense of plurality, the individuals gets lost within the sense of plurality. So when you talk about migrants, when you talk about immigration, when you talk about refugees, etc., then the context, the overall context kind of eliminates or erases the individual. So for me, it's very important that the individual gets brought out. So just like the sculptures from afar, you see the words, but as you get close, you get to see that each one of them is an individual stem, an individual person, an individual humanoid form. And that brings us to today. So the reason why I wanted to have this event, where we have individuals from around the world who have been displaced from their homes, from extreme circumstances, to come and give you guys their experiences, not the experiences, but their perspective of the world and their experiences, was very important for the body. It brings that sense of identity, it brings that sense of individuality that gets lost in the cacophony of these words like migration or, migrant or refugee, etc. So today we have the privilege to listen to a great group of people who have left their homes due to extreme circumstances, like I mentioned earlier. Some of them are refugees, some of them are asylum seekers, and SIV migrants, which are special immigrant visa migrants. But keep in mind that in the work, as well as their stories, they're also given voice to those who are unable to speak due to the language barrier, lack of translators, as well as those who are afraid to speak nowadays because of their undocumented immigrant status. Now, you do have to, let me educate you a little bit, let me say it that way, on what those terms mean. So, first of all, what is a refugee? So a refugee is a person who has fled their country of origin and cannot return due to a well-founded fear of persecution based on race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership in a particular social group. Now, asylum seekers is a person who has left their home country as a refugee and is seeking asylum in another. They must meet the definition of a refugee but secure their own travel to the United States. And last but not least, we have special migrant visas, which is a visa offered to Iraqi, Afghani citizens who are being threatened in their home countries due to their work with the United States Army, military, or U.S. contractors. So I will be introducing the speakers, and they will be sharing with us their view on the world using their own experiences, their perspective from their own experiences, and I also asked them to share, in many ways, the things that they see that the world does not recognize on immigrants or on refugees. Now, after their testimonials, we will be having a little ceremony of sorts. We were going to be adding some names to this piece. So we will be putting some names of the people who they left behind with their friends or families. It's a type of memorial that I've created for just the migrant population in general. So as a matter of privacy and respect for our honored guests, I would like the audience to please refrain from asking personal questions afterwards. However, please feel free to ask as many questions as possible to the individuals from our team. So Zoe will be the person you guys can talk to. If you have any questions about refugee service to Texas, how you can volunteer, how you can help, she'll be the right person to talk to afterwards. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our first speaker, okay, and that's going to be Marvin Gaye.
Good afternoon. My name is Marvin Gaye, and I'm from Zimbabwe. I grew up in a place where we were under serious oppression from an autocratic government. We grew up in fear. We were not allowed to speak out, we were not allowed to speak our opinions. And when I became a teenager, having seen my uncle in the struggle, speaking out in our country, I joined a movement called MDC, and we started speaking out against the oppression that the government was practicing on us as a nation. And we got under fire because of that. I remember we used to have people coming to our house, especially during elections. They would, the militia would move in their multitudes, and they would move around the neighborhood. And then you would hear them that they've stopped in front of our house. So they would stop in front of every house where there was known an activist, and they'd start singing songs of war and stomping their feet. We would even feel the vibrations in the house. And it eventually led to us being abducted, interrogated, beaten, had our heads submerged in water, and eventually forced to denounce our party. When I experienced that the first time, it was just the normal, that was what was happening in my country. But unfortunately for me, it happened the second time that they took me, and having survived that ordeal, my wife and I decided it was time that I escape for my life. And unfortunately, I was the only one who had a visa to come to America. So I fled coming here through South Africa. I took a bus to South Africa, then a plane to come to America. So I left my wife and my daughters. The youngest was 1, and the oldest was 4 at the time. Right now, it's been 4 years. I've not seen my kids. I've not seen my wife. I left my daughter when she couldn't even speak. Now she can speak and do walk and do all these different things. And having arrived to America, it was a struggle having to settle, because I didn't have like a solid place, so I moved from house to house until the human rights initiative, the lawyers that were helping me, like directed me to an organization that gave me a place to stay. Because for the first 2 years of my life, I was not allowed to work. I was not allowed to get any government assistance until I'd actually gotten my asylum status, of which that happened last year. And it was a time where I needed to see the community. I saw the community coming together with individuals, groups, organizations, helping me in terms of making sure I had food, I had clothing, I had the assistance that I need, and that helped in reducing the level of stress that I encountered, and having that kind of assistance gave me enough peace. I remember volunteering with RST before I started working there for like 8 months, and seeing how we were helping other people also helped me, seeing them being helped. And the struggle I went through, I do not want anyone to go through it. I wouldn't want to wish that upon anyone. And I remember the times the most difficult times that I've had to face were times where, whether my daughter was sick, or there was an accident that happened, or there was a demonstration in my country and I can't get hold of my wife, and I don't know things are okay, and I can't go back. And being in that place where I felt hopeless, useless, and unable to do anything, it came to a place where I said, I fled so that my kids would not grow up without a father. But the thing that I feared is what is happening right now because of our immigration system, that I've not seen my wife nor my kids. And why then did I escape if it's the same thing that's going on? And it's those kind of questions and the stress that I've had to encounter and just to go through. And And I've managed to continue standing through the help and the assistance and the support that I get from teammates, from work, from the community. It has helped me to really just enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Next, we're going to have Ms. Gita.
Good afternoon. My name is Gita. I'm from Afghanistan. I grew up in a country where life for women was very hard, especially for women who were working outside their home. In Afghanistan, I was working with U.S. government project as a women and children rights activist, exposing women and children rights violations. And it was a big problem for me because the opposite groups, they didn't want women to work outside the home. If they caught a woman who was employed by U.S. government, they killed her and the entire family. And this was the reason that I had to leave my country, my home, my mom, dad, and everyone in Afghanistan. And the most important thing, to live my identity there, and came to the United States with my husband and with my daughter. In 2015, I moved to the United States and started my life as a refugee here. You can't imagine how hard it is to live a refugee life here, living with mercy of others, and also having to adjust here. Anyhow, at the beginning, we passed through difficult situations because we had no money, we had no car, we didn't know anyone here. The only thing that helped us was the U.S. government assistance, which was provided through the refugee organizations like RSD. And today, I'm thankful and appreciate the U.S. government assistance and the refugee organizations who helped us to adjust our life. And in spite of all difficulties that we had during our refugee time here in the United States, the only thing that gives me and my husband the hope and patience is the future of my 7-year-old daughter. We want her dream to come true. She wants to be a scientist when she grows up here. So we accept all challenges here. Still we are struggling with challenges in the United States. But again, we request the United States government to give chance for those people whose lives are in danger in the war countries like Iraq, like Syria and Afghanistan. We want to request the United States governments to save their lives. They want to come to the United States to physically save their lives. No one wants to leave their home unless the home is the Mount of Asham. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you, Ms. Gita. All right, next we have Rosa Vargas.
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rosa Vargas. I am from Afghanistan. Yeah, it's just a country which reminds me of a lot of stuff which happens here. And I don't even, because people always remind me that I don't even want to say I'm a refugee. I see myself as a U.S. person in here. It was a lot. When we were there back home, we suffered a lot. A lot happened, which made us come here. And when I came here, I was like, I'm gonna say it as a story. I was a bird who had like 4 children. And that bird one day decided to leave. And those children was there. We needed help. We needed somebody, some hand to save us. And I think I received that help. And I really, really appreciate appreciate honesty as help, and I'm really glad they helped us. They taught us how to fly in here, to survive. Otherwise, those children would be done that. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm not good with speeches. When I came to US, I brought my 3 younger sisters. I didn't have the experience of being parents. I don't know. But it was hard to raise them. We were not accepted there. We were not accepted here. And it was like a race between living there and here. I'm really, really, really glad whoever just made this organization and whoever is like donating or making to help people like us. I'm really thankful to them. All I can say, I'm just so thankful. It was hard, really hard. 4 years of my life. I don't want to go back. I really don't want to go back to those 4 years of my life. But now, this year, I can say I am. And the girl who wasn't supposed to even, who wasn't able to even talk, and now standing in front of people talking about how I changed life in here. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right, next we have Femi. And Femi will be talking to us through a translator.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. كلمة عربية إسلامية. أتمنى لكم السلام والأمان. وأرجو أن تتمنوا لنا في بلاد سوريا الأمان والسلام. إن شاء الله.
My name is Yasmin Cotter. I'm a UCA student, and I'm privileged to be here. He says that he wishes all peace. He says that my wishes peace on board, saying that he wishes peace to you all, and he wishes the same, and he wishes all of you guys who are here the same to Syria that's happening right now.
أنا لاجئ سوري اسمي فهمي موسى أفراد سوريا. حضرت هنا لأمريكا من أجل الحرب اللي صارت العالم السوري.
He says that he is from Syria and that is his hometown, and he had to flee Syria because of what's happening right now, and it's definitely not something he wanted to do, but here he is.
أمنيتي إني أقدم لكم هالكلام بلغتكم أنتم باللغة الإنجليزية، بس ظروفنا كلاجئ إنه لا تحسن أن تدرس أو تعمل.
He wishes he can speak to you in English so that all of you can better understand him, but due to the certain circumstances, he can't work and he can't be going to school, so that's not the best option for him to be speaking English here.
أي لاجئ يتمنى أن يكلمكم باللغة الإنجليزية لغتكم أنتم. يعني الظروف الحالية لا نستطيع أن نتعامل معكم باللغة اللي أنتم تعرفوها. نتمنى هاي أكثر شيء نتعلم اللغة الإنجليزية، بس مثل ما العمل ما الظروف والشكل منه سيكون أكثر شيء ويكون هنا منظمة الآرسي الشكل كثير.
He appreciates RC and what they've been doing, and he's talking again about how he wishes he could speak to you in English.
وكان كل لاجئ أمة سوريا كل الدول اللاجئة هنا في أمريكا تدعوهم وتساندهم أكثر ما تستطيع.
He wishes that everyone here that's able to help the refugees and not just Syria as a country have
ليس دائما.
He says he classifies himself as a guest here in America and basically temporary guest, and he is really thankful for everything that America has to offer, especially what's going on in Syria right now.
ولكن أتمنى لكم السلام ولنا إن شاء الله أتمنى لنا السلام وأن نرجع إلى بلادنا سالمين وآمنين إن شاء الله.
He hopes to return to Syria one day, and as for now, he wishes to stay here and in a peaceful country, despite he had to go for
Thank you so much, Mom. Next, we have Alphonse.
My name is Alphonse. I am from the Democratic Republic of Congo. I've been resettled here in the United States in 2015. Back to my country, if I talk, we have a lot to talk about our countries. I grew up in a village where it took when a child is growing, when he is at 6 years old, we took like 2 hours to walk to school. So it was very hard to go to school again. But I'm lucky I won. I left my country because of war. There was a country with a long history. Until now, people are dying day and night. So I'm lucky to be here in the United States. And on behalf of my community is very happy to be welcomed, to be resettled here in the United States, because the life changed. If you live there in Congo, if you live today, you don't have hope to live tomorrow. You always think about tomorrow, but because of the war, ladies are raped every day. So till now, kids are dying because of hunger, and I think because of people here, because we arrived here in the United States, to be here in the United States on behalf of the community is lucky. But as you know, there is no place better than your home. We're still struggling here, but we are thankful to be here in the United States. We thank the United States to be here, and we thank, I've not been welcomed by RST, I've been welcomed by World Relief, but I think I thank RST because of their great job. They care about refugees, they care about people. I hope I should be welcomed by RST. But nothing wrong. World Relief helped me too, and I think I thank the United States. They provide for refugees assistance. When we are new here, 1 month or 2 months, they try to give us like assistance, food, or Medicaid. They take care of, and the people with disability, they help them. So we are thankful to be here in the United States, and we thank RST and as the audience. I wish the United States can walk around, because I know they have power over our country, and try to find a safe place, or talk to the government, back to our country, because they are, I think, a lot of authorities, I don't know, because of the bad quality, people are not safe. So I think, as my opinion, if the United States can find out how to help people over there, it can be grateful. Thank you.
दिएन पोलिटिकल पार्टीको कारणले गर्दा हामीले भुटान छोड्नु परेको हो।
Her name is Yomuna, and because of she left because of the political party didn't let her stay with them.
अनि म भुटानमा हुँदाखेरि हामी स्कुल जान्थ्यौँ। भुटानमा राम्रै थियो, हाम्रो बस्ने बसोबासो खानापिना हाम्रो खेतीपाती सबै थियो। तर भुटान सरकारले हामीलाई अतिबाट अति धेरै गरेर हामी लेडिसहरूलाई सेफ भएन भुटानमा। मेरो आमा बाबाहरू भुटानमै हुनुहुन्छ, सेफ नभएको कारणले हामी शरणार्थी बनेर नेपाल आउनु पर्यो।
The job was good, but the government didn't let them stay.
नेपालमा रिफ्युजी क्याम्पमा हामी 24 वर्ष बस्यौँ। 1992देखि स्टार्ट भएको हाम्रो रिफ्युजीहरू नेपालमा आउनु। नेपालमा 24 वर्ष बस्दा पनि भुटान सरकारले हामीले कहिले पनि फर्केर हेरेन, यो मेरो जनता हो भनेर। हामी बाध्यताले रिफ्युजी हुन पुग्यौँ। भन्दा we become refugee, but we stay in Nepal, refugee camp, 24 years old. Now, I've been here in America 7 months. In Nepal refugee camp, we cannot save. Nepal government, we did not keep safe. Then we coming in America. Here, America, good. I like America. Our RSD office is good. They are caring. I lot of things RSD office and American government. Thank you.
This is great.
Mommy?
Very good. All right, and we have last Amna. Very good.
Okay.
Sure, you're familiar with the word now. Name's Anna. She's from Somalia. After the war in Somalia, she had to become a refugee in Yemen for 29 years. She lived in Slovakia for a year. She came here in 2017. She has 5 girls and 1 boy, 6 children. Mr. Helen? She's comfortable here. She says that she feels safe, finally. She's thankful that her children can go to school and her husband can work here. She's really thankful for RST and everything that they've done for her family. Especially, she's thankful for having a social security and she wants to thank Blake personally. And
All right, excellent. I wish I had tons more stories for you guys, but unfortunately, it's the ones we have. I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart. This is really the last event here in Fort Worth with Sympathy and Compassion. So I really want to thank everybody. And given the fact that it's the first time the body of work is being shown, I also want to thank RSC. Without you guys, the body of work would just be, once again, just objects. You have given me the ability to bring my artwork to life, and it's extremely, I'm extremely grateful for your stories, the interviews, and also all the help that I received from you guys. I'm very, very grateful. Also, my assistant once again, which happens to be my mom, which is great. Without her, a lot of this would have not gotten done, so I'm very, very grateful for her. Also, Lauren Cross, when she's not here, she is actually in Europe right now. She was our moderator last week. And I'm just very, very thankful with everybody just for helping me throughout what the journey of research for my work, but also the last few weeks, which has been great. So we still have one more week of the show up, so please tell everybody about the show so they can come and see it. Share what you've heard here, share the stories. But more than anything, I want to encourage everybody to sign up, to volunteer, to ask questions about what RST does. You can either sign up to become a volunteer, you can host informative dinners called Asylum suppers, or you just can sign up just to obtain information that you can help bring about and to tell everybody what they're doing. And the best thing you can do is to advocate. Don't be silent. I think silence is a voice. So we all need to speak out. We all need to say things that are in our hearts, especially when we see things that are not right. I do it through art. That doesn't mean that you can do it different ways as well. Contact your elected officials. It's a simple way. Just call them and tell them basically what you feel, what you think. They're not going to have long conversations with you, so don't worry about calling about that. They're just going to put a notch down on the way you feel about things. And last but not least, help maintain the infrastructure of refugee social services in Texas. But something as simple as donating. So tonight, today we had asked everybody if you can to donate $10 towards RST just for being here. So if you do have $10 to donate, we have a donate button right behind you. Just $10 there it is to help out. So with that, we're going to be over there putting some names on CT. But other than that, thank you everybody for being here. I really appreciate it once again, and I'll see you around. Thanks.
Welcome to see that.
Yes. Well, I think he was nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, so over there, there's the letters.
Next year you will speak better English than me.
Sorry. Okay.
Bueno, ya. Es un tour.